Hey guys, Ed here bringing you part 9 of the reincarnation of Link. I hope you guys enjoy, and with no further ados, let's get into it! Where we last left off, after defeating the monster that held the last piece of the fused shadow, they reached Lanero's spring in hopes to heal the injured Katsumi before making their way to UA. But something, or rather someone, ruined their small time of peace, while Midna was scowling from within Izuku's shadow. Lanero manifested itself, and he lunged at the intruder, but the intruder pushed back the spirit and brought down Twilight as he turned to the others. "It has been a long time," the figure said, as Midna was forced to show herself, and Izuku forced back into a wolf, while Katsumi turned into a spirit, unaware of the change. "Right, Midna?" "Zant!" Midna spat with anger. "You've been scheming behind my back. You think I haven't noticed?" Zant said, as he uses magic to immobilize her in midair, and taking the fused shadow from her. "You defy me with ancient magic, Midna. You foolish, rebellious shadow. Why do you defy your own king?" "You are no king," Midna spat. "Only those that embody our ancient magic may become ruler of the Twilight. You are nothing but an opportunist, a usurper." "You're right. My power is more different from old magic. Why don't I show you?" Zant said, bringing his fingers downwards as Midna was slamming to the ground mercilessly. "My power was given to me by my god. He chose me." Zant was about to showcase a blast in Midna's direction, but Izuku managed to move her out of the way, causing a blast to hit him instead. Izuku whimpered and howled in pain as Midna held Izuku's face while tears were forming in her eyes. "Stop this, Zant! He has no part of this!" Midna pleaded. "Nor is the other one." "If you want me to stop," Zant shot off, "then come with me." "What?" Midna murmured in surprise as her attention shifted back to Izuku as his pain caused him to pass out. "Hang in there for just a little bit. Don't die on me." Zant was tired of what he was seeing, as he used his magic once again to bring Midna close to him as he spoke gently in her ear. "Have you forgotten, Midna? That creature is from the world of light, which were the ones that mistreated us and banished us to a different realm which we now call home," Zant said. "In their world, you're nothing more than a shadow. However, if we conquer this world, light and shadow will become one, which is why now is a time for us to take back what was stolen from us and forge a world where shadow suppresses light, which is why I need you." Midna said nothing as she contemplated about her past and thought about the girl she became friends with and how she mysteriously abandoned her, as old memories flooded her mind, mixed with the emotions of the past. "It is for the good of our people," Zant said. "Then the two of us can rule a world that has become one." Midna used the opening presented to slap Zant hard enough to make him back off, as she returned by Izuku's side as she glared daggers at him. You know, the Word of Light have some nice witty responses. Midna started. Fuck off, you ugly piece of shit. I'll warn you now, I'm coming for your head, you useless whore. And tell your god to go fuck himself because he is going to be joining you. I could hardly understand what those words mean, Zant said in between laughters. But from the tone of your voice, I can tell that you are refusing my offer. What a shame, really. I thought that you were smart. The two glared in each other's eyes for what seemed to be an eternity, until a smirk formed on Zant's face. Very well, Midna, Zant started as he grabbed her and trapped her midair as twilight slowly faded. If you enjoy the world of light so much, I'll send you back to the world you so much adore. Midna tried desperately to stop Zant or break free, but she found herself face to face with Laneru as a bright light enveloped the group, blinding everyone. And once Zant could see once more, he looked around, but nobody was there. It seems the creatures of light are gone. Something helping them, Zant thought as he monologued. No matter. It is futile for one of light to resist. The darkness will absorb all light and snuff it out. Things will never be the same. As that was going on, we skipped to Izuku, Katsumi, and Midna being teleported in a forest somewhere near the mock cities in UA, as Izuku shook his head in confusion. My head. I felt something stabbing it, but I'm still alive? Izuku said as he was starting to remember. All right, I think it was the first time I saw Midna cry, or even care for someone other than herself. But that aside, I'm starving. I haven't had anything to eat. That's when Katsumi gained consciousness, as she slowly looked around only to see a wolf and a monster as she started to scream, but realizing that she's in pain. Enough. He's not just a wolf. He's Izuku, Midna said from Izuku's back. Find Momo. She can help. Izuku? Katsumi questioned as she reached out her hand to pat him. Is this your quirk? Izuku placed his head on her hand and nuzzling into it. You guys can talk about this later, Midna said, straining to speak. We need to find Momo. I don't have much time. What could have happened to her? Who was that guy? Izuku thought. Why does she look different? That guy was Zant. It's his fault. I look like an imp that you so much despise, Midna said, answering Izuku directly. And also, the reason I'm dying. Wait, you can understand me now? Izuku thought. Idiot. I could understand you from the beginning, Midna said. I heard the whole thing. How you and Momo were talking behind my back, thinking I couldn't understand. I don't blame you. I acted selfishly, and I forced you to do my bidding, treating you as my object. I deserve it. Wait, what do you mean you're dying? Izuku thought in confusion. This is what happens when a being of shadow is pierced by light, Mid explained. I want to help move the crystal that is causing you to be a beast, but I can't. I'm too weak. Just jump back in my shadow, like always, Izuku pleaded, not wanting to lose anyone. It's too late, Midna said. I can't use any of my powers, and I'm running out of time. Izuku howled in despair, crying for help. The howls reached UA grounds as civilians were getting afraid, and others were getting their guards up. But somehow, Momo could tell it was Izuku. Nezu, sir, Momo started. Do we have anyone that has a quirk to allow us to scout? Why do you ask? Nezu said in concern. Is something wrong? I don't know, Momo said. I just have a gut feeling that something is off in that direction. Very well, Nezu said. I'll go see if you have anyone with a quirk like that. Why don't you go inside? It's starting to rain. And heavily, by the looks of it. That's when we cut back to Izuku, as it started to rain heavily, as the little rabbit was nearby hearing Izuku's cry for help. Hello, Mr. Wolf, the rabbit greeted. What's wrong? What kind of help do you need? I'm talking to a rabbit, Izuku questioned as he also questioned his sanity. That's quite rude, the rabbit inquired. I'm Raboot the rabbit. I heard your cry for help, but if you're going to be like this way, I guess you don't need my help. Wait, Izuku shouted. I'm sorry I offended you, but I'm actually human, and I need to find where UA is. My friends here are injured. I could tell you're not actually a wolf, because otherwise you would have pounced on me. I thought you were a dog, the rabbit said. If you mean that big building where I normally steal some food from, then follow me. I can take you there. Only on one condition. Okay, what's the condition? Izuku questioned. A big amount of food, the rabbit said. I have lots of little ones on the way, you know. Izuku looked at Katsumi, gesturing her to get on his back, as Midna was safely held on in one of Katsumi's arms, as the other held on to Izuku. And with the rabbit's guidance, they made their way to UA. But Izuku's earlier howl caused monsters nearby to investigate, and whenever a monster showed up in their path, Izuku gestured to Katsumi to stay back as he killed the monsters with his fangs, as blood dripped from his teeth. That continued for a while until they reached the walls where the rabbit used to get in and out. This is where I normally get my food from, but I guess it's too small for you, the rabbit said. Izuku thought about it, and that's when he started to dig his own way from the small opening, which was big enough for Katsumi to crawl in. As payment, get as much food as you can grab, Izuku said, as they would be more concerned over a wolf than a rabbit. Thank you so much, the rabbit said with gratitude. If you need anything, just give me a holler. Izuku made his way through the wall, followed by Katsumi. She got on his back, and they tried not to make any noise. That's when some farmers were shouting for help and sounded the alarm, causing Izuku to dash away into the city. Izuku, go for that building with the red roof, Katsumi said. Near there is where Mom and Dad are staying, and they can get recovery girl in no time. Izuku dashed for that building as fast as he could, knowing that Midna is running out of time. And after what seemed an eternity, they could finally see the building in question. but Cementos and other heroes managed to block them. "We found the girl," Cementos said. "How in the world did this wolf get in?" "Come on, girl," Vlad said. "Get off that thing so we can get rid of it." "Get rid of it?" Katsumi questioned angrily. "The fuck is your problem? This is Izuku." "Don't know how or why he looks like this. I need to see that Momo, so she can tell me how to help him. We got no time to waste." The heroes managed to call Momo, Nezu, and Recover Girl, only for Momo to be shocked once she saw Izuku as a wolf. "Izuku? How are you like this?" Momo questioned. "And where is..." "If you mean this thing-esque person, she's here," Katsumi said. "Midna, what happened?" Momo questioned, concerned. "I need you to help Izuku. Dark magic entered his body. I don't have much time," Midna stated. "Once he gets back to normal, look for the Mirror of Twilight. Enter the Twilight Realm and help my people. Please. Izuku can explain the rest. But before I die, I need to ask a question." "Ask me anything," Momo said. "Why?" Midna said as tears started to form in her eyes. "You once called me your friend, and you abandoned me without warning. Why?" The heroes stood in silence as they merely watched, for they didn't know what to do, while Momo processed the question asked, and that's when she realized Midna was a girl from the other side of the mirror, from all those years ago. "It's you," Momo said as she felt bad. "I'm sorry for not being able to talk to you in these past years, but my mother destroyed the mirror I used to speak with you. I only wish I could help you, just like you've helped us." "There is no point in that," Midna said. "Promise me that you'll help my people instead. Zant has taken over, and he stole the fused shadow. Free my people from him and his so-called god, and we're even. I want to help you, Midna. Do you trust me?" Momo said as she picked her up and embraced her. "What are you doing?" Midna questioned, a bit alarmed. "I only heard about it in stories that my mother used to tell me, and she said I would be able to do it too. But if you allow it, I'm willing to share," Momo said as a faint light came between the two. "No, I won't let you put your life at risk," Midna exclaimed. "Anyone, stop her!" But everyone else were clueless, not knowing what was happening. And before anyone can realize, the light blinded everyone. And once it dissipated, Midna returned to her usual self. "Why, Momo?" Midna asked. "I didn't ask for you to save my life, yet you still shared your life with me. Why?" "Because we're friends," Momo said as she felt drowsy. "And friends always help each other, no matter the cost." Momo fell unconscious, and the people were worried. Recover Girl went to diagnose Momo. "She's alive," Midna interjected. "She'll be out of it for a while, and she's the only reason I'm alive right now, and visible to all of you." "What about Izuku?" Katsumi questioned. "Can you turn him back to normal?" "I'll try," Midna said, but after a while she lowered her head. "I can't. The magic he used to curse him is far beyond the shadow magic my people practice. Maybe Momo could have done something, but now we need to find something else." As everyone was thinking on what to do, Minna stood there in silence. Your strength and your feelings, I have them, Momo, Minna thought to herself, thinking about Momo's gesture. I accept them, though I didn't want them. With what you did, I swear, I will help your people as well as mine. But at least, I now know you are always my friend. Minna was brought out of her thoughts as the hero had to address the elephant in the room. I have some questions I would like to ask you, Nezu started. What are you? My name is Minna. I'm part of Twilight, Minna stated. Your ancestors banished ours over 10,000 years ago, due to us excelling in shadow magic, to what we call the Twilight Realm. I see, Nezu said as he thought long and hard. From your previous statement about this Zant character, he seems to be the man behind the dusk phenomena. Yes, but I've known him my entire life, Minna interjected. He was all talk and no show until he turned me into this hideous thing deprived by most of my magic. You are saying something changed in this person? Nezu asked. As I mentioned in my dying breath, some sort of figure he calls a god, Minna said, and according to him, his god chose him to take over the realm of light and plunge it into darkness. But the only two that can do anything and not be affected by this are right here. One is unconscious and the other stuck as a beast. And I don't know how to help him. Have you tried the blade of evil's bane? Recovery Girl questioned. According to the stories, the sword crafted by the goddess shines with a soothing bright light that repels all evil. So in theory, it should help him. Okay, where is it? Minna questioned a bit urgently. Unfortunately, nobody knows, Recovery Girl said. The only people that would know about this location are most likely dead. That sword was said to be around since the goddess chosen a champion eons ago, and then tempered in the sacred fire by the chosen one. If anything, the sword will guide Izuku to it. Minna looked at Izuku as Katsumi was patting him as if it was a dog until something clicked in her mind. I've got it! Minna shouted, causing Izuku to jump. Izuku, remember what Pharaon said? Izuku thought about it as he nodded as he jumped in excitement. What the hell's gotten into him? Katsumi questioned in confusion. Right, you can't understand what he just said, Minna said. According to the light spirit Pharaon, there is a guardian spirit of the forest that has ancient knowledge. So it wouldn't hurt to ask if he knows where the sword is. Izuku was excited as he barked to get Minna's attention. And before they could set out, Nezu stopped them. Before you go, I would want you to have All Might tag along, Nezu said. Considering that there are a lot of creatures going around, an extra pair of hands wouldn't hurt. Izuku wagged his tail frantically as Nezu chuckled. It seems we have your number one fan, All Might, Nezu said. You can understand me? Izuku questioned, as only noises could be heard. Yes, I can. Should I have started with that? Nezu questioned. I don't think All Might coming along would be a good idea, Izuku said as his ears drooped. It's dangerous. What do you mean dangerous? Nezu questioned. All Might can help you fight off those creatures. He could carry you if needed. If anything, he might help make things smoother. Izuku has a point, Minna interjected. Pharaon also mentioned that some forests aren't safe. And if someone enters, they might get lost. And if they do, their souls will be trapped there for eternity. You are talking about the massive forest south from Mount Fuji, right? Recovery questioned. If so, you must know there are stories regarding it, and it was known as the Lost Woods for a reason. And I do confirm what Medna says. What else do you know about it? Nezu questioned. Well, there are a lot of stories, Recovery started. It is said that fairies inhabit the forest and live alongside forest dwellers known as Kokiri. It is also said to be the same place where the boy from the story was raised. But it also said that those that get lost will roam the forest even after death, while also making you lose your mind, as visions are shown taking you further deep into the forest. We've lost so many people for one child, about 20 years ago. But couldn't we make our ways by knocking down trees? All Might questioned. If it only were that simple, Recovery Ghost said. I've told you what I've known. Feel free to do as you please. Then it's settled, All Might said. We will depart in the morning. You should definitely get some rest, young Midoriya. Very well, Nezu said. Why don't we bring Miss Yairo's body in Recovery Girl's office and get her hooked up to the necessary equipment? I don't want to sound rude, Midna said as her stomach was growling. Izuku didn't have time to eat because of a sudden wake-up call. Then he was running around and then dealing with some creatures and an axe-wielding goblin, injuring the little firecracker over there, trying to drag her to who knows where, to do who knows what. And once again, Izuku managed to fight off the creature and saving her. And then dealing with a massive centaur that wielded weapons, dwarfing the poor Izuku. Everyone hearing the story was feeling a bit sympathetic as Katsumi was blushing. Then he got cursed and brought us here on his back with the guidance of a rabbit, while running away by people trying to kill a wolf, which happened to be the same people Izuku saved when twilight enveloped this realm, Mina said, making the heroes feel a bit guilty. And since he wasn't affected by the twilight, as it did you, he did his best, alongside Momo, to restore the light spirits, and helping everyone by dealing with those shadow creatures, giant insects, an enormous worm. And did I mention he fought a fire-breathing dragon inside of a volcano all by himself? So don't you think he deserved a meal fit for a king? While everyone was kind of speechless, Izuku simply laid on the ground, covering his face with his paws, due to embarrassment. Nezu chuckled and brought Izuku, Katsumi, and Midna to the cafeteria, raising a few eyebrows for the students having dinner there. And they stopped in front of Lunch Rush. Lunch Rush, could you cook up something for these three? Nezu questioned. They haven't had a break for some time, and they are starving. I don't mind one bit, Lunch Rush replied. Do I hear people starving? Said a mysterious voice. Yes, Blaze, Lunch Rush said. Would you like to take care of it? Say less, Blaze said as sparkles could be seen in his eyes. But the moment he saw a wolf, that's when his excitement went through the roof and he started to cuddle the wolf. So fluffy! Who's a good boy? Blaze said. I'll prepare something extra for the doggo. He will be a good addition to the Dargo army. Everyone was watching, but Katsumi tried to push Blaze away. Get your hands off my Izuku, Katsumi said, getting between Blaze and Izuku. So his name is Izuku. Interesting, Blaze said. It sounds like a human name. Why did you give him a human name? Because he is a human, you freak, Katsumi spat back. Watching you cuddle him like that was very uncomfortable to watch. Never mind then, Blaze said as he took one step away. Who was cuddling who? A voice said, as they were curious about the commotion. Oh, hey, Ellie, Blaze said, trying to keep calm. Don't worry about it, it was nothing. This freak was cuddling my human friend turned wolf, Katsumi said. It's not what it looks like, Blaze said, trying to defend himself. Oh, is that so? Ellie questioned with a calm but scary face, as she grabbed him by the ear and pulling him away. Why don't you tell me about it in my room? Blaze tried his best to escape, but he was dragged away. Don't worry, I'll prepare your food, Lunchrush said. Do excuse him, he loves dogs. After the awkward exchange, the evening was mainly about filling bellies and resting. We cut to Izuku sleeping as peaceful dreams become daunting nightmares, until Izuku woke up in a cold sweat. As everyone's still sleeping, not wanting to wake anyone, he made his way onto Yue's rooftop, overseeing the entire thing, only to hear a howling far into the distance, which he recognized that belonged to the Golden Wolf. He listened, and Izuku started to howl back, as their howls created a delightful yet melancholic melody. And after it was all done, he heard the specter's voice in his head. Meet me in the forest. I will guide you to the sacred tree, the specter said, leaving Izuku to his lingering thoughts, until a familiar voice broke the silence. What a beautiful yet melancholic song. Is everything alright, Mr. Midoriya? Nezu cautiously questioned. I heard howling, so I decided to investigate. Sorry, I didn't mean to make a commotion, Izuku replied. I was simply worried. Worried? Curiously questioned Nezu. If you want, you can tell me all about it. I had a nightmare. It seems too real for my taste, Izuku started. Everything was on fire, heroes were dead, and the man that caused all of it was riding on a black horse, and in his hands he was holding Midna's helmet, or whatever that thing is. The man was crumbling it with his bare hands. The man looked at me, telling me that I was next, and when he said that, his face was glitching from that man to something else, and it scared me. The face I saw, where do I begin describing it? I'm sure it was all a dream, Nezu said, reassuring Deku. Why don't you get some rest? After some more convincing by Nezu, Izuku eventually went back to sleep. And then the awaited morning came. Midna, riding on Izuku's back, was ready to depart, and All Might showed up with a horse provided by the farmers. Why did you get a horse? Midna questioned. If we were going inside a forest, I don't think modern transportation would be appreciated, All Might answered. Midna rolled her eyes. That's when Nezu opened the gates as he saw the trio depart. It seems that our number one hero became the sidekick of the hero chosen by the gods, Nezu said. Sir, you are forgetting his small problem, Aizawa said, emphasis on the word small. That's the reason why I sent him with them, so that he can take a break. Meanwhile, with Midna, Izuku and All Might on the road, Izuku has been running towards the forest, but with the horse feeling a bit competitive, desires to pass Izuku, causing Midna to throw a fit. The hell's your problem? Midna questioned, as he used magic to make Izuku go faster. You're supposed to follow us, not get ahead of us. I swear, I didn't do anything, All Might said, defending himself. The horse is doing everything. Why don't I believe you? Midna said, scowling. As this back and forth between Midna and All Might went on, the pseudo race went on, and before they realized, they found themselves in front of the forest in question, where a sign was warning to not enter. Well, this is it, All Might said, dismounting the horse. Good. Now, let's get in there, find this guardian of the forest, Midna said, taking a look around. Once Midna returned, she saw the horse getting too close to Izuku, as she got annoyed. Why don't we send this thing where it belongs? Midna said as she teleported the horse back to UA. Wait, you could have teleported us? All Might questioned. Don't you think we could have gotten here hours ago? Unlike you, I was inside Izuku's shadow, so I couldn't enjoy the scenery, Midna said, being petty. Unless it was enveloped in twilight. I must say, it looks a lot better this way. There's more color. Shall we go in? All Might questioned. Without a word, the trio entered, and after getting inside the first few meters, fog was starting to fill up the place. But soon after, the golden wolf appeared. Izuku looked at Midna, and Midna held on to All Might as Izuku followed the wolf. And the fog became thicker by the second. After watching the wolf going through the fog, Izuku followed it. And when he got through, he saw a small village, or rather, what remained of it. And on the other side of the abandoned village, the golden wolf stood, walking through the meadow. Izuku followed, and when they reached the meadow, there was no sign of the golden wolf, but a massive tree stood in the middle of the meadow. As signs of a struggle faded, devoured by nature. Welcome, a voice said, grabbing the trio's attention. I have been waiting for your arrival. All Might looked around in confusion as Midna nudged him to look at the tree. Ah, it's our honor, your treeness, All Might said, making a fool out of himself. We came in search for... No need to make a fool out of yourself, All Might, the tree said. I'm fully aware why you are here. It is to save this young one, chosen by fate. To finish a battle that started over 1,000 years ago. What? How did you know that? All Might questioned. And also, what do you mean by that? I know everything that goes on, as my roots are spread far and wide. But ever since cities have been developed, I had no choice but to go around them, the trees said. As for your other question, look around you. This meadow has seen better days. A fight happened here long ago, when I was a mere sprout. The previous chosen by fate fought against a wicked man of the desert, as the future for Hyrule stood in his hands. He sacrificed himself to ensure the capture of the wicked man of the desert. Sorry I'm trying to speed things up, but where can we find the sword? Midna questioned. Yes, the Master Sword. Its location is fairly simple. It resides in the ruins of the Temple of Light, which I kept protected by outsiders, the tree said. But before I let you go on your way, I sense that you, All Might, are in desperate need of healing, and that injury you've had for years is hindering your overall strength and reliability on the battlefield. Wait, it can be healed? All Might questioned excitement. No, All Might. It won't be healed, but it will be restored, the tree said. But it's not gonna be easy. I don't care how difficult it may be, All Might said. The people need me more than ever. I can't let them down. And I certainly can't leave everything on young Midoriya's shoulders, even if he is the chosen by fate. Very well, the tree said. Along the way, you will see a cave. There you'll find the fairy fountain, where a great fairy resides. Go there, give an offering, and she will appear. I will open a path through the fog. All Might thanked the tree, and the trio followed in the path, reaching the cave mentioned by the tree. They entered it, and along the way, they found it dark. And once they found a clearing, they saw a pond in the middle of the clearing. All Might threw an offering. The water started to glow, and a burst of water went upwards, splashing them in the process. Oh my, it's been over 1,000 years since I've last had visitors, the great fairy said, stretching a bit. What can I do for you? I was wondering if you can heal my body, All Might said, as he buffed down, coughing blood. My name is Toshinori Yagi. People knows me as #1 hero. Several years ago, I was injured badly and it left an awful scar, and it limits my ability to save people. Right now, they need me more than ever, but my body can't handle the strain, and I'm reduced to what you see now. You poor child, the fairy started. Come, my dear child, step in my spring and lay down for me. All Might laid in the pond as he floated, and as he was feeling relaxed, he closed his eyes, and suddenly he was being pulled down by an unknown force, about to drown. He struggled fiercely, and what seemed to be eternity, he managed to stand in the spring, panting. There, and you're all done, the fairy said. For your honesty, I decide to revert your body 15 years younger. I thought I was about to drown, All Might said in shock, as he admired his body. But I feel great. Thank you so much. Feel free to visit if you have more injured people, the fairy said, as she retreated back into the spring. We got so many questions, Midna said, but they can wait until after Izuku turns back to normal. Right, then shall we? All Might said, gesturing towards the exit. The trio continued down the path, but out of nowhere, their path was interrupted by an imp, accompanied by 2 fairies. Who are you? Where are you from? The imp asked. We don't let anyone enter this forest. We promised him, and we'll never let anyone in. The imp ordered the fairies to attack, and as the fairies got closer, one of them noticed a mark on Izuku's paw. Tail, look! The mark! It's the mark! One of the fairies said. You're right, Tout. It's the mark. Skull Kid, look! Teal said, as it flew around in excitement. Let me see. The Skull Kid said. The mark. Are you him? Have you returned to the forest? The trio was confused. You said you'd come back, the Skull Kid said as he hugged Izuku. You waited and waited for so long. You kept your promise. Izuku saw a tear escape from the Skull Kid's eye. This time, I keep my promise. This way, the Skull Kid said, gesturing them to follow. After a while following the Skull Kid, they reached some ruins. This is a place, the Skull Kid said. Promise you come back to play with us? Izuku felt a lump in his heart, knowing that the person he was waiting for will never come back. So he nodded his head to promise, but as soon as he did, the Skull Kid vanished, as well with the fairies. Maybe an illusion? Or probably lingering spirits, Minna said. If they were lingering spirits, you freed them. But now that we are at these ruins, let's find a sword and get you back to normal. Agreed, All Might said. Do you think we should look behind that door? Midna looked at the closed door as it was guarded by statues with some sort of staves. Huh, I guess this was easier than I thought, Midna said as she pulls out a chocolate chip cookie. Good job, Musclehead. You get a cookie. All Might felt a bit offended by that. As the trio got closer to the door, the statue spoke. The one with the mark has appeared. The brave one has returned, the statues said, as they lift their staff and slammed to the ground, as the door they were guarding opened. Brave one, you may enter. The trio passed through the door and walked up the steps. Once they reached the top of the stairs, Izuku could hear a faint voice calling him, and he followed the sound of it, only to see the Master Sword in its pedestal, with some of the forest fog covering the floor, as the blade glimmered with a soft pale blue light. All Might was shocked to see an ancient sword still in pristine condition. Minna flew to All Might, leaving Izuku on his own to approach the divine blade. And when Izuku approached the blade emitted a bright light which blinded All Might and Midna. The dark crystal that was inside Izuku was now expelled, reverting Izuku back to himself as he placed a hand on the hilt of the Master Sword and thanked it as he started to pull. To be continued. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more. Turn on the bell notification to be updated so you never miss a video. That said, peace out.